life and confidence coach Dianna Leeder, and this is my podcast, the Crave More Life Roadshow. It's here we talk about emotional hits and lovingly kicking our own asses to get through them. Just so you know, it always comes down to being your beautiful, sassy self, living and loving from you, no matter what. So join me to hear about the healing journeys of other women, and you just might become a DIY ass kicker too. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Roadshow. This is another episode of the Men of the Men's book, Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 4, Transcendent Men Real Stories. Quantum healer Ken Shepardson is my guest today, and you will find all of Ken's bio in the show notes. I am honored to welcome him to the Roadshow. Hey Ken, glad you're here.
Hello, thank you.
We just popped off another meeting, so it's it's like a second hello this morning. So hello again.
Yes, exactly.
So let's begin with what made you want to write for this book?
Mainly my story, my awakening. It was really, really fast and really intense, and to me, I felt like sharing my story helps one person. It's worth it. And I think it'll help more than just one person. I think it'll help a lot of people.
Guaranteed. And you know what I liked about your story was that, you know, the description of that process. And in fact, your chapter is called Mississippi Mud. Right. So, you know, when you do you think about Mississippi Mud when you're thinking about a healer? No, you kind of think about being in the crux of it and moving out, right? Which is really what your chapter was all about, right?
Yeah, definitely. Literally getting stuck in the mud and finding my way out.
Yeah. Awesome. So, can you tell us a little bit about what your experience was with the actual writing of your story?
It was kind of a little intense for me. You wanna jam in every detail you can, and pulling back so that way the important parts are in there was really difficult. But it was. I think it came together well, and I think it's a good recount of what happened.
It's really good, and you know, people are going to have to buy the book actually to or come in as an advanced reader reviewer too, so that they actually get the whole feel of it. It's amazing. I don't want to give up too many details here on you, but it's really it's amazing, you know, for a guy who was doing something completely different, and then suddenly the world is opening up. Another world is opening up is just absolutely amazing. So given that process for you, what's your understanding of transcendence? Because there certainly was a movement, an upward movement for you that you described in your chapter.
I think before, I was atheist, and I was techie in science, and those are the I didn't really think, there's a source or a God or anything like that. So I think the change for me was realizing that there is so much more, realizing that there's so much more to our life, so much more to our existence, and feeling into that and understanding that was huge.
So you made reference to source and obviously that's some of the more that you're talking about. But what else is different? What else did you find or learn or embrace after Transcendence?
Yeah. Well, even before, I mentioned very briefly in the book, I started waking up in 2016 when I started feeling spirits walking on my bed. So to me, that's when I started beginning to realize there's a whole nother realm. There's astral realm, ethereal realm. There's all these different realms of existence that we talk about. The human eyes and the human ears only see this much frequency, and there's so much more outside of those frequencies that we hear and see. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's beyond concept.
It kind of is, isn't it? And you really were kind of thrown right into the deep end.
Yeah,
That.
I've heard many times, I've been fast tracked.
Ah, right. And as you will see in Ken's bio, that there are reasons for that. Yeah, and I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing because I've experienced your healing sessions. People, in my family have experienced your healing sessions, and they're amazing. They really truly are amazing. So what you have become now is extremely powerful, extremely skilled. So thank you for being that and accepting that, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what I'm growing more and more every day. It's amazing, once you open yourself up, what things come to you.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me a little bit about some of the experiences that you had with that moving through. I mean, one of the things that I recognized when I was reading your chapter was that you didn't, for a period of time, you really didn't know exactly what was happening or the expectations of you. So I don't know, just share a couple little stories about that movement, because if that was the movement that got you into a place where your life is completely different, then it's an important one to talk about.
Yeah, well, and it's what's I I have a belief that yin and yang, light and dark, are very they're all extension of source. So I think you read in my chapter, and my story is me coming from this dark place, and that darkness pushing me to the light. And I think that's really what you see. That's as I'm going on these adventures and I'm doing these things, uh, the brain going, "Oh, this is crazy. Why am I doing this?" But then the feeling of, "I need to do this. I need to do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's really interesting because the light, I mean, there's the light relative to the spiritual piece of this. But the light for me is also a place of peace. That's kind of what it means to me. So when we rise through again that transcendency, as I think it was Joe that one of the other authors that decided that was definitely a word, transcendency, that there is a lightness, for you to be in a place now where you are where you're serving the world in the way that you are is incredible, and it's a huge gift. And it's also, as you said earlier, it's also a big change from where you were, many moons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I talk about. What I used to do is controls. Control, 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 and that's what I think a big part of that was kind of like a big underlying joke to my life is um, controls and letting go of control.
That's really interesting, and that has come up with some of the other authors as well. As opposed to control, it's you become in a place where acceptance is just there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it just switches places with the need for control. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about that in terms of your actual life. Like where have you let go of control?
Well, yeah, that's what I I kind of talk about it, but in the book a little bit. I had a very structured life, working in construction, and then later on in the maintenance world, working in air conditioning and. Like I said, very science, I was a big gamer. So I was all about my computer and so kind of during my major stage of awakening there, um, I let go of everything. I said the universe will provide, and yeah, that's what's letting go of that control, and in the end, the universe did provide. It may not have in the thick of it, it may not have looked like it, and it may not have felt good for me to purge all that out of my life. But in the end, where I'm at now, I'm thrilled. And that's what I think is really important. One of the most important messages to my story um, is right in the moment. It may not look good, but when you're months past it and you look back, it's like, yeah, I needed to go through those things. I needed to go through that to get to where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to where you are today, what has changed in your relationships?
Well, that's what I kind of mentioned it in the book. My twin flame healer, love, Lisa, who's also written in your book. Um, that's what we're together here in Utah, and we're healers. We work together, healing together, and we really complement each other well. We have different skill sets and different abilities. That's that just we work really well together, and so yeah, that's what we're teaching classes on intuition development and doing group healings and such, and we're really trying to change everything we can change, that that we're allowed to change.
Yeah. Yeah. It needs changing. Yes, for sure.
Yes.
So, what about the rest of your relationships in your life? Like, are there differences there between the guy you were before all this and the guy you are now?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm still working in the 3D world, and that's what the guys I work with. I think of there's I don't really necessarily talk openly about everything I do. I'm like trying to wake them up with snippets of this and snippets of that, and I find it fun. We one of the best enjoying times that I do is when my partner at work, Jason. I play the game of guess which elevator is going to come to pick us up, and uh, I have a little bit of an advantage, so I win a lot.
Do you think he's gonna watch this and then the jig is up? You know that, right? If he sees this.
Eventually, yes, I'm sure he will see this, and yeah, the jig will be up.
Oh, that's fun. And you know what? It's also I think what if I can put this kind of together a bit, I think that whole piece about not needing control, right? Not needing that and being in a space of acceptance of whatever is happening and just kind of letting things unfold as they will. I think that is so big in our relationships. It changes them entirely. So you can enjoy that guy as an example. You can enjoy him. You can enjoy that kind of back and forth and have some fun with it and smile and keep the vibe up as opposed to sitting and thinking, oh, come on, elevator.
Well,
Get me.
yeah, that's it's really an amazing point, because yeah, that's what before I was the center of attention. I was always, oh, I got to get this and I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And now it's just like, it'll happen when it happens. And, you know, I embrace the role that I'm in now, and I hang out and we get things done when we get things done.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And how, I mean, aside from the whole spiritual piece, that is that peaceful place. How much better when we get there, how much healthier are our bodies and our minds and our hearts, like everything would just, I think, just responds in a very different way when we are just allowing, surrendering, allowing. Yeah, peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I talk to my guides every day and just yes, I allow, come to me, you know, help
Yeah.
me, support me.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So, how do you imagine your chapter is going to help other people?
You know, I think other people that have the dramatic shift, I picture it being very helpful for a lot of like people that are atheists or even people that have a staunch religious belief and then they come out of that belief.
Mhm.
Um, Whether it be through like with me, with my clairaudience, or other divine gifts, you know, whether it be clairvoyance and they start seeing things, um, you know, as they start waking up and coming out of that realization that the world as they knew it isn't the way it is. I think that's what it's really going to help is you know, it's going to help them realize that it's okay that things are going to be a little chaotic, you know.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. The okay, I know we're live and all that, but my question just gone. Saturday morning. Have not had enough coffee yet. That's it. Oh, your clairaudience. You mentioned your clairaudience. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for me, it's gone a very uh, it's gone through a lot of different stages, and that's what I think. Also for those people that have clairaudience, I think it'll help them. At first, it was like clicking in my head, and I noticed there was a pattern to it, and then I noticed I could hear words through it, you know. And then that developed more. I kind of talk about in the book different sounds. Like I'd roll the window down on the car just a crack, and as I'm driving, I could hear the words in the wind, or I could rub cloth together, and I could hear words in the cloth, in the sound that the cloth made rubbing it together. So it ended up evolving to where I'm at now. It's ringing in the ear. I know a lot of people experience ringing in their ears, but mine is very, very loud in my left ear, and it's all the time. And I
Hmm.
could hear words through it. I could hear words through it. I've come to be able to tell who I'm talking to based on how the frequency feels. Like Archangel Michael feels like that. Archangel Metatron feels like that. The frequency feels. So I can tell what energies I'm talking to based on how that frequency feels. So yeah, it's really been an interesting evolution of how my clear audience works.
Mm-hmm. And it just reminds me of just that transmission of energy generally, right? How every energy feels different. So it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, if you get any really good tips, let me know, okay?
will do.
So
I
I'm just
typically
kidding.
I had
Just kidding.
I no, you're good. No, typically I have to be in quiet. So yeah, but no, yeah, I definitely, you know me. I'm always willing to add in a little bit of spice here and there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I do love that about you for sure. So, one last question, and that is what are your hopes for this book as a whole?
Um, To me, as a whole, I hope, one, to create a great group of guys and friends with the different authors, but also to help other men, to help other men, you know, understand that they can feel and that they can change, and that help other people understand that, because I think that was the point of this book is, the other three were more about women and their stories. Well, men can change too, and men can have um, a definite growth and change to who they are. So I hope it'll help other men.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Bottom line. Yeah. Love that. Yeah. I think that they're, men do go through growth like that, obviously. And every chapter, of course, and you've heard this too, you've read them probably, or a good number of them, or you will, how everybody has gone through a different experience, but they've all ended up really in the same place, which is accepting, loving, kindness, here to serve the world. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm really, 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 really proud of all of the authors. It's been awesome. So, Ken, any last things that you want to share?
Um, I can think of. It's early yet for me too. So, but no, yeah, that's what. Thank you so much. I'm proud not just of myself, but of the other authors, and I thank you and Scott, of course, for the opportunity to be sitting here with you talking about it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. So, listeners, thank you for being here too, and getting to know Ken a little bit. Man of the Men's Book. It's going to be great. It is great. I mean, already it's just we're just kind of taking care of the last final pretty details and all that, and it will be popping out in August. So thank you for being here and listening to our chat. And remember that just by being here, you are kicking your own ass. So thank you for showing up. If you like today's podcast, hit subscribe at the bottom on your way out, and come find me at cravemorelife.com for even more DIY ass kicking.